How JS works. It has two phases, compilation phase and execution phase. In the first phase, the JS scans the file from top to bottom, looking for variables and functions, and it allocates the memory for variables and all the functions. It will skip all console log and other stuff. So this is what happens in the first phase. And then we have the execution phase where it executes the code line by line. So JS will come from the first line to the bottom, like it will execute one by one in the phase 2. So this is how JS works. We should know this before hoisting. If you run the file, JS file, in the terminal, you can use node main, the file name, and or the exact path. So when you hit enter, the JS will go through two phases, the compilation and the execution. As I earlier said, the compilation will allocate the memory and then it will start executing the code line by line. So if you hit enter here, you can see first it compiled the code, it allocated the memory to the variables, then it executed the code line by line and it printed 1, 2 and 3. Hoisting is a process where JavaScript moves all the declarations to the top. So during compilation, all the declarations, whether it's variable or functions, are moved to top. You can imagine it's something like this. For this example, like in compilation mode, it will go through line by line and it will take the late x, like this declaration will be hoisted at the top, then const a, it will be again hoisted, but it is not initialized. They will be in a temporal dead zone. This is same for let and const. So whenever after compilation phase execution starts, and when the code comes here, when it will console.log x, it will check, the code knows, like the JavaScript knows the x exists, but it is not initialized as it is in temporal dead zone. It will give a reference error. Same for const, as you can see for a. Now for var, hoisting is a little bit different than let and const. It is hoisted and also initialized as undefined. So basically you can imagine it's something like var y equal to undefined. So if you log console.log the value of y before initializing it, you will get undefined. In case of simple function, they are hoisted completely with the definition and reference. If you call the greet function before it is initialized, you will get the output. So basically you can access the function before initializing it. Now for variables which are containing a function, the hoisting will be same for var, let and const as we saw earlier. For var it will be undefined and for let and const it will be reference error. So but the error you will get will be different. There is a type error because say hi variable will be undefined as it is hoisted and you are trying to access it, you are trying to invoke it as a function, so it will say hi is not a function. For arrow functions we have same behavior for var, let and const. So var will be undefined and it will give type error for the function, and then let will be the reference error and const also will give reference error as they are in temporal dead zone because they also act as variable. Also finally there is one more thing in var. You can redeclare the var variable like var x equal to 1, then again you can use the same name var x equal to 1. You can do this, but this is not possible in let and const.